Hello viewers, in this video we are going to see the detailed description about the functionality of Widler current source or Widler current mirror. So the circuit is almost similar to that of simple current mirror or simple current source, except a small change. That is, only one emitter resistor is added in the emitter of Q2. Here it is E2, emitter of Q2, collector of Q2 and base of Q2, and here it is emitter of Q1, base of Q1 and collector of Q1. So in the emitter terminal, instead of directly grounding it, here a resistor named RE is added. Because of that RE, definitely the current flowing in this RE is available, that is named as IE2. So this is the only one change Widler has incorporated in the simple current source to make this as Widler current source. And what this current source says is, in the final output we have I out equals to I reference into beta divided by beta plus 2 in simple current source. So by choosing beta is a higher value, for example beta is 100 or more than 100, you'll be able to approximately equate this. So for a lower value of beta, if we choose beta equals to 10 means you'll be having 10 divided by 12. So this ratio will not be equal to 1. So this makes I out is not exactly equal to I reference. So for lower beta of transistors, we cannot be able to produce the same current as constant current in the output side as compared to the current at the input I reference. So here, if you find this ratio, it will be around 0.83. So I out is 0.83 times I reference. So according to the current mirror logic, I out must be equal to I reference. So what you are supposed to do in this simple current mirror is you have to consider the beta is more value. For example, 100. We choose beta as 100, it will be 100 by 102, it will be approximately 1. So for lower betas transistors, or the circuit is having transistor with lower level of beta, simple current mirror cannot be used. So to overcome that effect, Widler proposed this circuit, modified circuit, by considering an emitter resistor in the Q2. So because of the added resistor, the base current in the Q2 will be further reduced. Usually while comparing collector current, emitter current with base current is negligible, very less amount. It is in the in terms of it is in the order of microamps. So because of the added resistor, this IB2 is further reduced, and while analyzing this mathematical expression for this circuit, this IB2 will be neglected. This will not be considered for analysis because of the added resistor. So what Widler trying to prove is, because of the added resistor, this IB2 will be neglected. So because of this IB2 neglected, the final result in approximating I out equals to I reference will be having more approximation. So this I out will be almost equal to this I reference. So this is what Widler trying to prove, and we are going to see the operation and this proof in this session. So here the operation is same as that of simple current source. VCC is given, and in this OR you have I reference. I reference generated is capable of driving this Q1. Once Q1 is on, then Q1 will on this Q2, and this switch on of Q2 will be able to produce this output. It is same as that of the simple current source. So this switch on of Q1 is simply setting this base emitter potential in the required level, that is 0.7 volt in case of silicon. So by properly providing this I to this base, you're properly setting base current, you'll be able to get this VBE. Once this VBE is sufficient, Q1 will be switched on. If Q1 is switched on, then further this switch on to Q1 will drive this Q2 to switch on and to deliver this I out. By this way, I reference is processed by Q1, Q2 and delivered as I out, the mirror current, output current. The functionality is exactly same as that of simple current mirror. And to find this R, I reference the reference current in this by using Ohm's law. The source node potential VCC minus destination node potential, the destination node is node A, divided by the component R. Here the destination node potential is used to switch on the transistor Q1, that is 0.7 VBE1 on. So for silicon it is 0.7. The equation to find R is also same as that of simple current source. If you have any further clarifications, please see the video I have posted for simple current source. And for analysis, we have to consider these two nodes, node A and node B, and we have to apply Kirchhoff current law for both the nodes. After applying Kirchhoff current law in node A, we will be having the current entering I reference equals to current leaving, that is IC1 and I added here. And similarly for node B, after applying Kirchhoff current law, the entering current is simply I here, and the leaving currents from the node are IB1 and IB2. So these two are to be considered. And after considering these two equations, Kirchhoff current law at node A and node B, we have I reference equal to IC1 plus I, name this as equation 1. And similarly for B, I equal to IB1 plus IB2 for, name this as equation 2. So here IB2 is taken as 0 or very less because of the added RE. So this is the main change Whittler has done from the simple current mirror. In this Whittler current source, RE is added and the Q2 is emitter. So because of that, emitter current I is equals to IC plus IB. This will be reduced further. Because of the IE controlled or reduced a bit, IC and IB can be affected. IB is already, it is in microamps. So because of the added resistor RE, IB reduces further. So this will be a very less value when comparing to IC, IE and IB1. So because of this, IB2 in the emitter side, in the transistor Q2 side will be not considered for analysis. Previously for simple current source, we have considered both the base currents IB1 and IB2. Now IB2 is not been considered because of the added resistor RE. So from this equation 2, we have the I at node B is equals to only IB1. There is no IB2. It is left out and it is not considered because of the added RE. So after substitution of the equation 3 in 1, because equation 1 is simply IC1 plus I, here IC1 instead of I you can add IB1. So we know that IB1 is IC1 by beta by using this current gain equation, IC by IB equals beta. I reference equals to IC1. If you take IC1 as common, 1 plus 1 by beta, and further I reference equal to IC1 into, if you take beta as common, beta plus 1 by beta will be available, and IC1 is equals to I reference into beta divided by beta plus 1, and we are using identical transistors, so IC1 will be equals to IC2, that will be equal to I out. So this IC1 is taken as I out, that will be equals to I reference into this term beta divided by beta plus 1. So this is the final result, that is the mirror arm current or the output current I out is equal to the reference arm current or the input current I reference into beta divided by beta plus 1. So here if you choose beta equals to 100, then I out will be I reference into 100 by 101. Previously, for simple current mirror, it was 100 divided by 102. Now it is 100 divided by 101. So this makes this approximation even closer. So I out is more approximately equal to I reference for beta equals to 100. If you go for beta more than 100, you will have more approximation, and the problem for lower beta is if you go for lower beta, that is beta is 10 or some lesser value, you will be having I out equals to I reference into 10 divided by 11. This was 10 divided by 12 in simple current mirror. Now it is 10 divided by 11. So here also you will be having more approximation when comparing to the simple current mirror. By this way, the widthless current source is providing bit higher approximation in equating I out equal to I reference when comparing to simple current source or simple current mirror. So this approximation is further increased, and this I out equal to I reference, this equation is more accurately equated by considering the next optimized current source, that is Wilson current source. So here, after analyzing these results, we conclude that the performance of generating constant current source of this Whittler current source is better than the constant current output generated by simple current source. And here, to design this Whittler current source, we have already seen to find this R by using the same equation of I reference equal to VCC minus VA by R, which we have discussed in the simple current source topic. Please refer that one. And finally, R can be found by VCC minus 0.7 by I reference equation. And not only R, we have to find RE also. If you are able to find these two resistance, and after choosing proper values only, you will be able to generate I reference and to process it by Q1 and Q2 and to deliver it as an I out to constant current source point as a constant and stable output current. Then only this circuit becomes Whittler current source or Whittler's constant current source. So to find this RE, we have to consider the base emitter region of both Q1 and Q2 and apply Kirchhoff's voltage law. So Kirchhoff voltage law in this base emitter region is the total potential around this whole loop is equal to 0, or one side of the loop potential will be equal to other side of the loop potential. So one side of the loop is having VBE1 to switch on, and other side of the loop is to switch on this you have VBE2, that is purely because of this VB1, and drop across RE. So I can write after applying Kirchhoff voltage law in this base emitter region, you'll be having one side of the loop is having VBE1, the potential in Q1 to, or the potential required to switch on Q1 is equals to, this VBE1 is equal to the other side potential or the potential required to switch on this Q2, that is VBE2 plus drop across this RE. Drop across this RE is, according to Ohm's law, drop means it is potential V equal to I into R. Here the potential V, E or V is the drop, so I into R, that is RE into IE2. So according to Kirchhoff's voltage law, the potential at one side of the loop or potential in the Q1 is equals to potential in the Q2. Q2 has got two potentials. One is to switch on it, other one is drop across RE because of this added RE. Here there is no RE because of that only one potential VBE1. Here VBE2 along with the drop. So by considering this equation, the RE can be found. As I said already, from the base emitter loop of Q1 and Q2, we have VBE1 equals to VBE2 plus IE2 RE. So after moving this VBE2 to the left hand side, VBE1 minus VBE2 equals to this IE2 is emitter current. It's the combination of base current and collector current. So IB2 plus IC2. Since IE equals to IC plus IB, and VB1 minus VB2 equals to IB2 is IC2 by beta plus IC2 as it is into RE. Here IC2 is common, take outside. So IC2 into 1 plus beta, 1 plus 1 by beta into RE. So VB1 minus VB2 equals to IC2 into, take beta is common, beta plus 1 by beta into RE. So name this as equation Roman letter 1. And we know that a general collector current equation for any transistor or diode will be alpha a constant into saturation current or emitter current IE into exponential of the potential required to switch on the device, diode or transistor, divided by Vt, the thermal equivalent potential. This will be around 26 millivolts. This can be derived from the expression KT by Q, that is Boltzmann constant into temperature divided by the charge of electron Q. So this is a separate topic. So now from this only we require this Vt. So e power VBE, the potential required to switch on, divided by Vt. So this is a general equation, and we have to change this equation according to our transistor. So alpha IE is emitter, e power VBE is chosen because of we are using a transistor and we have converted that as a diode. So VBE by Vt. In general it is Q VE by KT. So this Q by KT will be 1 by Vt. So Vt, instead of VE the potential we have chosen VBE here. So this is for transistor, and the collector current is equals to a constant into emitter or saturation output current into e power VBE by Vt. So this is a general equation for any transistor or diode. So from that general equation, according to our design, we have two transistors Q1 and Q2. For Q1 it is IC1, which is equals to alpha IE1 into e power, instead of VBE it is VB1 by Vt. For this is for Q1. Similarly for Q2 we'll be having this equation. So from this two collector currents, if you take ratio between these two, IC1 by IC2 equals to alpha IE1 and e power VB1 by Vt divided by alpha IE2 t power VB2 by Vt. Alpha IE1 and alpha IE2 both are approximately equal, so cancelled each other. The remaining term will become e power VB1 by Vt. The denominator exponential, if you move to the numerator, then it will be minus e power VB2 by Vt. So e power A minus e power B will be e power A minus B. So e power VB1 by Vt minus VB2 by Vt. So in common you can take e power VB1 minus VB2 by Vt. So name this as equation 8. So from 8, the exponential in the right hand side can be removed by taking natural logarithm on both sides of the equation. So ln of IC1 by IC2 equal to ln of exponential of VB1 minus VB2 by Vt. So ln and exponential get cancelled each other. So the remaining term VB1 minus VB2 by Vt will be ln of IC1 by IC2. From this VB1 minus VB2 equals to Vt into ln of, move this Vt to the right hand side, Vt into ln of IC1 by IC2, name this as equation 2. We already have derived equation Roman letter 1, that is VB1 minus VB2 equals to IC2 into beta plus 1 by beta into Re. So after comparing Roman letter 1 and 2, so left hand sides of both the equations are same, so you can equate both the right hand side of the equations. So Vt into ln IC by IC1 equals to IC2 into beta plus 1 by beta into Re. So from this we can find the Re, that is keep Re in one side, then the expression becomes Vt into ln of IC1 by IC2 whole divided by IC2 into this one, beta plus 1 by beta. By using this expression, Re can be found. After finding Re and R, and the Re and R are placed here. After placing these two values and properly choosing VCC, we can fix I reference, and that will be processed by this Q1 and Q2 and delivered as an output, and finally equated as I out is equals to I reference. Thank you.